The FBI has long been looking into the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club because of its reputation for engaging in illegal activity. While it is difficult to categorically list the top most feared Hells Angels members or leaders, a number of people have become well known over time. It's crucial to remember that the Hells Angels organization has numerous chapters throughout the world, and that depending on their locale, different members may have different influences and reputations. In this video, we'll discuss the top 5 Hells Angels that the FBI has ever feared. Let's start with number 5, Maurice Boucher, the man whose name, according to legends, inspires fear in the hearts of FBI agents. Even the most seasoned agents reportedly felt shivers go down their spines when they saw Boucher, who had an intimidating aura and an infamous reputation as the leader of the Hells Angels branch in Montreal. Boucher and his gang of motorcycle-riding misfits must have made the FBI, which is renowned for taking on global crime syndicates and combating terrorists, shudder. According to legend, Boucher's illegal schemes were so daring and his influence so great that the FBI set up entire task squads to monitor him. In their top-secret offices, they would huddle around and stare at photos of Boucher, his hulking build and handlebar mustache instilling fear in their clerical hearts. But let's step back from the land of legends and get back to the actual world. Although Boucher was a well-known member of the Hells Angels and engaged in criminal activity, it's safe to conclude that the FBI had more important things on its plate. Boucher may have been under surveillance, but it's exceedingly improbable that he was the most dreaded target in their sights. Therefore, even the most imaginative storyteller would find it difficult to imagine Boucher as the most FBI-feared man. Despite the fact that he may have developed a reputation among biker communities, the FBI's attention was diverted to more important issues. Thus, Boucher and his antics were reduced to the status of a colorful footnote in the annals of criminal history. George Christie, who is ranked number 4, is the man who supposedly made FBI officers shudder just by his very presence. Christie allegedly sent shockwaves through the FBI's ranks with his flowing silver hair and a motorcycle-riding swagger that could make even the toughest agent tremble. They claim that FBI agents would rush for their case files and drop their donuts when his name was mentioned, because they feared the wrath of this leather-clad legend. According to legend, Christie had a special ability to confuse the FBI with his superb organizing skills. Agents of the FBI would be perplexed since he would organize covert operations from his biker lair. They would huddle in their desks and discuss how this motorbike fanatic kept outsmarting them while gazing at his picture on the wall. But let's leave fantasy behind and return to the real world. Even though Christie was a prominent member of the Hells Angels and had his share of legal troubles, it's safe to conclude that the FBI was more focused on other, more urgent issues. They were occupied tackling espionage, global criminal networks, and other genuine dangers to national security. Therefore, even the most creative comic would find it difficult to create the wonderful exaggeration that George Christie was the most FBI-feared man, despite the fact that he may have developed a reputation among biker circles. The FBI was engaged in more significant conflicts, so Christie and his exploits in a leather cloak were relegated to myth and legend. Next up is number 3, Mark Papa Guardado, the man who allegedly caused FBI officers' shiny shoes to shudder. Papa Guardado was rumored to be the stuff of FBI nightmares, with his intimidating presence and a reputation that reputedly struck dread into the hearts of even the most seasoned investigators. Agents would cluster in their poorly lit offices, holding onto their credentials tenaciously, seeking to avoid coming into contact with this intimidating individual. According to legend, Guardado had a supernatural ability to avoid FBI observation. Agents would be left perplexed as he would vanish into thin air, calling into question their education. They would congregate in their personal hiding places, huddle around his image on the wall, and ponder how this motorcycle-riding outlaw could outwit them at every turn. But let's leave the land of fairy tales and head back to the real world. Guardado probably played a big role in the Hells Angels and engaged in some illegal activity, but it's safe to conclude that the FBI faced more formidable foes. They were occupied battling drug cartels, organized crime groups, and other genuine threats that needed their full attention. So, even though Papi Guardado may have developed a reputation among bikers, to claim that he was the most FBI-feared figure is a ridiculous exaggeration that would be difficult for even the most creative storyteller to construct. Papa Guardado and his leather-clad exploits were left to exist in the world of fiction and folklore, since the FBI had more important problems to take care of. Stepping on to number 2, Maurice Satan Bernardo, who according to legend was the man whose nickname alone gave FBI investigators shivers. Satan Bernardo apparently had the FBI shaking in their suits due to his evil reputation and diabolical name. Fearing that his demonic presence might taint their investigation files, agents would murmur his name in hushed tones. Satan Bernardo allegedly possessed supernatural abilities that enabled him to outsmart the FBI at every turn. Agents would look at him in bewilderment as he conjured up plans from the depths of biker hell. They would gather in pitch-black spaces with crucifixes in hand and discuss how this demonic presence kept eluding them. But let's leave folklore behind and head back to the real world. As a Hells Angel, Satan Bernardo may have engaged in his fair share of criminal activity, but it's safe to say that the FBI faced more formidable foes. They were occupied fighting off global crime gangs, terrorist groups, and other present-day dangers. Therefore, even the most creative comic would find it difficult to imagine Satan Bernardo as the most FBI-feared man, despite the fact that he may have developed a terrifying reputation among biker groups. Satan Bernardo and his demonic antics were left to exist in the realms of fiction and folklore, since the FBI had more important things to deal with. Sonny Barger takes the number 1 position. According to folklore, Sonny Barger, a legendary member of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, has earned a reputation that makes the FBI nervous. Barger has a lengthy history of being connected to the club's inner workings because of his wild beard and imposing demeanor. However, to assert that he is the most FBI-feared individual is akin to saying that a bulldog is the most feared animal in a petting zoo. Barger undoubtedly attracted the attention of law enforcement organizations, notably the FBI, with his captivating demeanor and outspoken attitude. He became a representation of the Hells Angels, a man whose very name could chill the spines of his foes. However, it might be a slight exaggeration to claim that the FBI spent its evenings tossing and turning in fear of Sonny Barger. Barger did engage in illegal activity and did time in prison, but let's not forget that police departments have faced far more serious dangers than a bunch of bikers revving their motors. The FBI focuses its efforts on battling organized crime, terrorism, and other significant threats to national security. Sonny Barger may have been a formidable influence within the Hells Angels, but to say that he was the most FBI-feared man is an exaggeration that even the most imaginative of writers would find difficult to construct. Law enforcement has had to contend with problems much bigger than a bunch of leather-clad bikers speeding down the roadways. Sonny Barger, Maurice Boucher, George Christie, and Maurice Satan Bernardo, to name a few, have all made an indelible stamp on Hells Angels history. While their fame may have given rise to exaggerated stories of intimidation and fear, it's crucial to maintain perspective. The FBI's concerns go far beyond a bunch of leather-clad motorcyclists. Therefore, let's enjoy the vivid mythology surrounding these people while also keeping in mind that the FBI's formidable adversaries are not limited to motorbike fanatics, but also include multinational crime syndicates and risks to national security. Do you know of any other criminal gangs or people who have presented the FBI with more difficulties and dangers than the Hells Angels? If so, please tell us in the comment section.